In the world of software, there's this constant tug of war, right? On one side, you have this relentless push to build and ship new features faster than ever. And on the other, you have the absolute non-negotiable need to keep everything secure. It is a high-stakes race between speed and safety.
And that really brings us to the billion-dollar question for pretty much every tech company on the planet. How do you actually win this race? How can you innovate at light speed without, leaving the front door wide open for attackers?
Okay, so let's break this down. At its very heart, you've got this fundamental conflict of goals. Your development teams, they're all about speed and innovation, getting that next cool feature out to customers. But then you have your security teams, and their focus is completely different. Safety, stability, preventing breaches. And for a very long time, these two goals felt like they were on opposite teams.
So here's how we're going to unpack all this. We'll start with that classic speed versus security problem. Then we'll talk about the rise of DevSecOps, and then we're going to get to the really cool stuff, how AI is completely rewriting the playbook, what the payoff is, and of course, what's coming next.
So the first real attempt to bridge this gap, to get these two teams to work together, gave us a whole new philosophy, DevSecOps. And the core idea was pretty radical at the time. Stop treating security like some final exam you have to pass, and start building it in from the very first line of code. And that philosophy is what we call DevSecOps. It's really a cultural and a technical shift. The big idea is to make security everyone's job. It's a shared responsibility where developers, security experts, and the ops teams are all in it together, right from day one. So if you think about it, DevOps was all about bringing development and operations together. Well, DevSecOps just adds that critical third piece to the puzzle, security. It's no longer some separate team you toss your code over to at the very end. Security is now baked right into the core development loop.
This image really says it all. You can think of DevSecOps as that sweet spot in the middle, the intersection where all these crucial functions, development, operations, QA, and of course cybersecurity, finally overlap and start speaking the same language.
Now, this whole approach is famously known as shifting left. And honestly, it's a simple but powerful idea. It just means moving security from the very end of the assembly line all the way to the beginning. Security is no longer an afterthought. It's woven into every single stage, from the initial planning session to the final deployment. But here's the thing. Even with this revolutionary cultural shift, a new problem started to crop up. The sheer speed and massive scale of modern software development, well, it started to outpace our human ability to keep up with it all. And the pain points became super obvious. Manual security reviews, they're prone to human error. We all make mistakes. Security teams started getting buried under this mountain of notifications, leading to what we call alert fatigue. And maybe most importantly, manual processes just can't scale in a world of cloud-native apps and constant updates. But what if we could give our human teams a superpower? What if we could multiply their efforts with a tool that never gets tired, never gets bored, and learns at an absolutely incredible scale? Well, that's exactly what happened next. And this is where artificial intelligence steps onto the stage. It's not just another tool. It's a massive force multiplier that gives security teams the superpowers they desperately need to finally keep pace. AI-powered scanning is a total game changer. See, traditional tools, they rely on a fixed set of rules. They're kind of dumb. But AI systems, they learn from these huge data sets of actual real-world vulnerabilities. They can spot patterns, understand context, and find subtle flaws that a rule-based system would just sail right past. And this really gets to the heart of it. The best way to think about AI's role is as a co-pilot. It isn't flying the plane all by itself. It's that incredibly powerful assistant that enhances the skills of human engineers, letting them focus their brain power on what's most critical. So let's look at a couple of these techniques. First up, you've got static code analysis, but supercharged with machine learning. This is where an AI scans the raw code, and it understands not just the words, but the meaning, the context, to find those really tricky hidden flaws. For instance, an AI could spot insecure file permissions in a Python script. And it doesn't even matter if the code is written in some weird, unconventional style, because the AI understands the fundamental security principle behind it, not just a specific line of text. Okay, now let's layer on another amazing technique, natural language processing, or NLP.
This is where the AI starts to understand human language inside the code. It's reading the comments, it's looking at function names, all to figure out what the developer was actually trying to do.
And this is a fantastic example of that. An AI might see a function named send password by email and immediately flag it as a huge potential risk, just based on the name. It understands that the intent is dangerous even before it analyzes the code that does the work. That's a level of intelligence older tools just could never dream of.
So look, this all sounds really cool in theory, right? But what about the real world? What's the actual payoff for investing in this new wave of tech?
Well, for individuals, the payoff is huge. The demand for people who can build and manage these systems is absolutely exploding. In the US, the average salary for a DevSecOps engineer is already hitting 140 grand a year. That tells you just how valuable these skills have become.
And for companies, the benefits are just as clear. Research shows a major drop in costs. This chart here breaks down how professionals are seeing those savings. Everything from catching risks earlier to just being way more efficient at fixing problems. And we can put a hard number on that. On average, companies that really embrace this AI-powered approach see the costs from security breaches fall by 15 to 20%. Now think about a breach that could cost millions of dollars. That is a massive, tangible return on your investment. So where is all this heading? I mean, if AI is the co-pilot today, what does the cockpit of the future even look like? You can see the entire evolution right here on this timeline. We went from security being an afterthought to the shift-left era we're in now. But the next big leap, the one that's happening as we speak, is towards AI-driven predictive security. We're talking about systems that don't just react to threats, they anticipate them. We're even starting to see the first self-healing systems that can find and fix their own flaws. It's amazing.
We are clearly in the middle of a profound transformation. And it all leads to one really fascinating question for all of us. If today's AI is the co-pilot, will tomorrow's AI be the pilot? And if it is, what does that make us? Maybe we become the navigators, the ones who set the destination and chart the course for this incredible new technology.